Hello and welcome to the Trendy Teen Talk Show. I'm your host, Trinine Davis, and tonight is my co-host.
Hi, I'm Diane Drakes.
And tonight our show will be talking about teens and what they feel about beauty, self-worth, self-respect, and also self-image. I would love to introduce you to my lovely teen cast, starting with
Kimberly, New Britain.
Ajane, Enfield, Connecticut.
Tanasia, New Britain, Connecticut.
Jakai, West Hartford, Connecticut.
Sarah Dean, West Hartford, Connecticut.
Okay, so now that we got our introductions out the way, I would like to ask my first question. I would like to ask it to Kimberly. What is your definition of beauty?
I feel as beauty doesn't have an actual definition. I see it as how you perceive yourself or someone, and it's not about how they look, or it can be how do they look inside, and so it's a lot of definitions to beauty.
So you think beauty is more complex than just a simple definition?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else want to answer that question?
Beauty to me is not to be conceited, but myself. I feel it's not about the outside, but it's about the inside. Like how you treat other people, your mindset, how positive you are. That's what beauty is to me.
So your character, your
Characters,
personality.
yeah.
So beauty comes from within inside.
Yes.
Okay.
People agree with that?
Yeah.
Definitely. I think it kind of, you exude that. Like, when someone's beautiful, sometimes you feel it from their inside because they're projecting that out there. So what do you think is one of the most important characteristics about having self-confidence? Like what's a characteristic that you look for when you're looking for a confident or person that has self-esteem?
Having that I can do it attitude, that I can instead of I cannot, that matters. Because, when you're like, I cannot, then you're going to think you can't do it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that matters.
And like having self-worth and like respect, like if you respect yourself, that like it goes a long way with like how confident you are and like how you put yourself out there.
It's sort of like an aura, right? I mean, if you're that confident about yourself, people will kind of feel that,
right.
Sense that. It's an aura about you,
right.
that you're confident, and you walk with your head high.
Yeah.
How about you? What are your thoughts about self-worth and beauty and all these different things? How does that is that something you think about, or?
From a male perspective?
When it comes to beauty, I think the most important thing is to love yourself first. To be able to look in the mirror and say, I love me. I love everything about me, outside and inside. So I think the first step to loving others is loving yourself first.
That is so important. That is so important. And I mean, how many of you actually look in the mirror every day, other than putting on your makeup, other than primping, getting dressed, but actually look in the mirror and think about who you are and what the things that you like about? Because I hear so many teens talk about the things they don't like about themselves, but there's so much beauty in them that they don't even see it, that they're not really fully loving themselves. So that is very important. So if I had to ask, Tanasia, give me 2 things that you love about yourself.
My confidence within myself when I'm going against other people at something that I really want, just thinking like I can do this. Like, I'm worried, but I'm not that worried. And actually accomplishing it because I've had that, I have that I can do it attitude. What was the question? I just forgot that
2
quick.
things that you like about yourself.
Right, okay. So that was the first one.
What are 2 things that you like about yourself?
That was the first one. The second thing is, I guess of realizing how blessed I am, with all the different things I've accomplished, with graduating high school, number 1, and on to my next chapter and doing what I need to do. So I think that matters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sarah Dean, when you look in the mirror, what do you see?
I see a short little girl. But I like positivity. I'm always positive, and I think that goes a long way because even in the worst situations, I'm that one that's like, oh, but you can still make it better. Like, it can get worse, but then it gets better. Like,
Right.
there's so, like, yeah, that's. And then a second one would just be, I don't know, I'm really kind-hearted, so I think that also goes a long way with like treating people with respect and how I want to be treated, and like showing people that they are like beautiful and that they do have self-worth, and I think that's one of my.
Okay, what I noticed from both of you, you talk about inward things that's inside of you. You're not talking about, oh, I have beautiful eyes, or I have beautiful lips, or I have a beautiful body, or things of that nature. You're talking about your personal character, you know, from the inside to out. So now on the flip, I'm going to ask a question. Kimberly, what is it that you see that you don't like about yourself when you're in the mirror?
One thing I would say I don't like about myself is that I'm ambitious, but I don't think I push myself as hard as I could push myself. So that would be something negative about me.
Okay. Ajane?
That I'm too forgiving sometimes. Like, if somebody does something that pushes me to the point that they keep doing it over and over, my heart always seems to forgive somebody, and that's my struggle. That's why I don't like seeing about myself.
Again, it's all about your character. It's not like, oh, I'm heavy, or I don't like because I may not have enough breast, or you know, things of that nature. So you're not looking at your actual body. You're looking at the inside, your soul. You know, how you are made. And that goes to say that you are all unique. And I say unique, spelling it by a Y-O-U, and then N-I-Q-U-E. You are unique. Okay?
I think, you know, that whole concept of thinking about some of those internal traits that you really like about yourself. But when we wake up in the morning, we don't get a chance to look at our heart necessarily. We're looking at our nose or eyes.
Physical.
So I think it's really important too to have some pieces that you appreciate about what you're seeing, right, physically. I think, would you agree that there's some pressure about what that needs to look like at times?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that, because I think, you know, that other piece is really important, but I think the other part of the conversation too is how our hair looks, and what sneakers we're wearing, and, you know, what brand is popular, right? So let's talk about some of those things, because I think sometimes that's where some of the mean behavior happens that then affects our self-esteem. So would we say that's happening? Let's delve into that a little bit.
It's definitely happening. It happens daily, especially us as teens. You know, society pushes us to feel like we need to look this way and you know, be this way because we're this skin color, or, you know, we're that skin color, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, it happens daily.
Well, I know personally you do a lot of modeling.
Right.
And I know society always has said that to be a model, you need to be what? Tall, thin. And most models are Caucasians. There are a few African American that has broke the barriers and have made great accomplishment in becoming models. But now I think we're breaking those barriers down, because models come in all shapes and all sizes.
Right.
You know, and I know by some of the pictures that I seen of you, they were beautiful, and you really couldn't tell how tall you was.
Right.
You know, so
yeah, I can. They're not. You know, it's definitely changed, like you said. I don't feel like a lot of photographers, shall I say, or agencies are as strict as they used to be. But yeah, that's definitely like the ideal image that most agencies want you to have. You know, you have to be tall, skinny, and you have to weigh this much, or you have to lose this amount of weight by whatever shoot you have that's coming up. And, you know, I'm small, so yeah.
Well, just imagine all the teens
Yeah.
that do go by society image in the pictures that are being displayed and shown in magazines, on TV, about how a teen should look. And there's a lot of teens that do want to be models. And so a lot of them is brainwashed to believe that they actually have to be this way. And they actually are putting their body through changes and not eating, and just so that they can try to lose the weight to fit what society say you should look like. Do you know anybody like that? Have you ever felt like you should change yourself to fit how society say you should look?
I mean, everybody comes into contact with a feeling like that, with whatever it may be. I mean, it's always that, okay, let me snap back and really like rethink this. Like, I don't have to be this way to do this sort of thing, you know, but I feel like everybody has thought that way at one point in time. We're all human, like, you know.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's fair. So, could you name something that you tried to change to fit society
Can I name something?
that you have done to change yourself?
Maybe about, well, I don't know about changing myself, but of thinking that, or, you know, wishing I was, about modeling, we can go back to that topic. You know, not being as tall, you know, I'm just about 5 feet. So, you know, most models, or if I'm going to a casting call, or I want to model this for this fashion designer, and, you know, all of it fits somebody that's tall, or, you know, the pants that I have to wear are too long, or, you know, something like that. It's almost like, well, I wish I was this certain height, you know, so I can do this, that, and the third, because I can't rock everything else that every other model would rock. So, yeah.
Okay. And I have another one here that also likes and wants to be a model. And what is your opinion on that, Kimberly?
Well, being a model is tough, and you go through so many agencies that tell you, well, if you give me this amount of money, I'm sure I can help you, but it's not a guarantee that I can put you out there, or here's some training, but it's gonna be like $3,000, $5,000, and I feel like that's not real, because if you want to be a model, I don't think you should be getting paid for it, not actually paying someone for your dream. So it's tough, but if you like really try hard and you put your own self out there and you get your own photographer, you take your own pictures and you post them somewhere, I feel like then that's how you would get your foot in the door. But paying someone that's going to tell you that they can't guarantee you a job, I feel like it's absurd.
Okay.
I think sometimes when I think about the show and think about, you know, other teens watching this, when we think about self-esteem and self-worth, what are some things that, you know, you do to help build your self-esteem and to help build your self-worth? Because I think, you know, if we talk about not being tall enough or not having this particular thing, what things do you do to help build yourself up? I don't know who wants to take a stab at that question.
Thinking about what I am good at, you know, that somebody else may not be good at, or, you know, something that, you know, you might want to do that somebody can do, but something that you can do that they can't do. You know, not necessarily only that, but just thinking about, you know, just being grateful. You know, somebody always has their words, so it's like, you know, when I feel like, you know, oh, she can do this, but I can't do that, it's more so like, you know, everybody can't do the same thing as everybody, so. I mean, that's how I get through when I feel like that. I don't know, I can only speak for myself.
I think about the positives.
Okay, that's
about
good.
it, about the situation, because everybody, like she said, everybody is not made to do everything. So I look at the positives of the situation and go from there.
Right. Everybody have strengths. Everybody have different strengths, but everybody have some things that they're not so good at. What about you?
That's a really good question. I just kind of keep, doing what I do every day. You know, I kind of just stay me. I work hard. I have goals I want to meet. I have personal goals I want to meet, and I kind of do my best to fulfill those goals. And I think, I just think that itself kind of makes me who I am. And I think that makes me a good person.
Right.
I think that's a big part of self-esteem. You know, when you look at the study of self-esteem, talks about, you know, a lot of people don't set goals. So if you set a goal and you accomplish it, it actually builds your self-confidence and your self-esteem. So you're doing the right thing. And I think it's an important thing to do that oftentimes we don't think about. A lot of people only think about setting goals or setting something they want to work on at the start of the new year, you know, but you can set a goal every day, you know, things that you want to do or accomplish and kind of chip away at it. So good technique. Keep it up. What other things might some of you be doing to
I think
build
like
yourself up?
surrounding yourself with positive people
Okay, that's
around you, because like when people put you down, that's when I feel like people start to like look back at themselves and then start picking out what other people are putting them down for. And I think if you surround yourself with positive people, you're gonna have like a better outcome and you're gonna feel better about yourself because,
Good.
That's really good.
It
'cause
is.
surrounding yourself, people who you surround yourself with, they can either push you down or lift you up, you know. And we all know people that we've encountered that you're like, okay, I can't wait to get away from them.
Right.
And then people that you just can't get enough of. It's like, what else are you going to tell me? Oh, that was really good, you know. So really, that is a big booster.
Yeah. I also think too, when you talk about strength and weakness, I mean, you may link up with people where you complement each other. You know, they may be good in one thing, but you may be good in another area, and together you can really create something great where you both will shine and both feel good at what you're doing, you know, because you're doing it with your strengths. But to me, it still goes back to what Jakai said. I love what he said about self-love, because that is so important, and that's first. I mean, you cannot love anybody else if you don't even love yourself. You can't respect somebody else if you don't respect yourself, you know. So that's very, very, very important to know who you are as a person, for one, and to have that self-love, because it will certainly spread out to everyone that you encounter in your life.
That's one of my favorite quotes. Your first love and your last love in life should be self-love. You know, because if you don't love yourself first, it makes it hard to do those other pieces. So I kind of like that. And even when you talk about dating or, you know, meeting another person, people go, oh, that person's my other half. And not really, like we're all full people, right? You know, so that self-love and that clarity about who you are, that you're not looking at somebody, or maybe you are. Like, let's jump into that. Like, how does your self-esteem connect or affect relationships and,
Right.
and dating? How does that work? What do you find to be attractive when you're looking to meet somebody as it relates to self-confidence?
Go ahead.
She's ready. She's like, let me answer that.
Yes, go ahead.
Goals for themselves, ambition, good grades, self-respect, respect towards their peers, to their parents, to their family, just goals for themselves, like what they want to do in life, what they want to be in life. So, yeah.
Anybody else?
I think she said it all.
I know, that was like a book right
That
there.
is.
I was like,
From your perspective, when you looking at a young lady and you might want to have a relationship, what are some things that you look for in them?
Well, definitely self-confidence. I definitely would like to meet a young lady who definitely like loves herself before she can even love me. You know, going back to that whole thing, and just knowing that you know, knowing that she's great. You know, just knowing that she's good just the way she is.
Great. I think also too, families play a role in helping to shape and guide you into knowing who you are, loving yourself by, you know, family love, by it being told to you. Also, if you're affiliated with churches, you know, being involved with that as well as any other activities that you may belong to. I think those all help you to feel and feel confident and know who you are as a person.
Right, that's the root of it all. Whoever you're raised by, you know, how they bring you up. Yeah, that's the root to even loving is to know how to love yourself. I feel like if you're not around somebody who taught you that, I mean, it can either go left or right, but most of the time, you know, you don't know how because you've never been taught how to do that. So that definitely matters, definitely.
And I think being around people that are affirming you, kind of, you know, telling you, nice job, you did a good job on that, that sweater looks really nice on you. And I think that's a great self-confidence builder as well. You know, when we compliment other people as we encounter them, you know, not only do you feel good, but they feel good because you're acknowledging something that, you know, is beautiful or nice that they have. So it's really good.
How many people or teens you have seen that really have no self-esteem, low self-esteem, no confidence in themselves. Have you encountered, I mean, because most of y'all are in school, some not, I mean, you're in college.
Yep.
But have you encountered other students, male or females, that you can actually look at them and see by the things that they're doing, you know, how they look, their face, they may look sad, that they really have no self-esteem, no self-confidence, and really don't know what their self-worth is.
Mm-hmm.
So do you see that at school a lot?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's usually like people who really don't like fit in like the social norms. And it sucks to see that because not everybody's gonna be that like TV character of a high school student. So
Right.
some people really take that to heart and they try to be perfect, but one, they're just either not happy, and you can tell that like they don't respect themselves, or they don't feel like they have any self-worth.
Okay. How do you think we can help them? Because according to y'all all have self-worth, self-respect, and you love yourself. So, I mean, when you encounter teens that are really struggling to be identified or identify themselves, how can you help them by them maybe seeing that they are worth something and they are good at something?
Like,
How can you uplift them?
tell them that they're more than, tell them, how do I put this into words? Tell them that they're actually worth something. Make them feel like if you ever need someone to talk to, that you'll be here for them. And and show them that just because your definition of beauty is different to someone else, it really doesn't matter. It's about what's inside of how you feel about yourself, how you love yourself.
Right.
Because everyone has a different definition, of course.
Everybody has a different definition, and also everybody has different lenses. Do you know
Yes.
what I mean by lenses?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody has two set of eyes, and what you see as beauty, somebody else may not see that through their lens, through their eyes. So everyone has their own perspective and what beauty is. Is it more important for you to know what your beauty is and not really worry about what everybody else thinks?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to kind of know yourself, and that will shine.
Have you all heard about the Strength Finder, the Strength Quest test that you can take online?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think that really is something that I would encourage you to check out on the internet, but it's one of the tests that allow you to kind of focus in and you answer a number of questions, and it gives you a profile as it relates to what your particular strengths are. And I think it would be something neat. There's a small cost associated to it, but I think at this point in your life, it'd be interesting to take it to kind of be able to see where you might be interested in going in your career path, and just kind of like what your unique talents and gifts are. Because as we kind of have discussed, you know, it's very easy to say, oh, I don't like this in myself, or I don't like that. But there's proof research-wise that shows that like when you focus in on your strengths, you're automatically going to be more successful and feel more self-confident. Mm-hmm. So hearing some of that, what do you think are some of your strengths? I know we talked a little bit about that already, but like what do you think is something that really, like, maybe share about what you're thinking about doing in the future for a career path, and then what do you think your strength is that you're bringing into that? Just kind of curious, because I believe that, you know, we have these strengths and these things, and it's from now, like, you know, from where you're seated now in your high school and college years. So just kind of want to get it on tape in the early.
I'm ambitious, I think. And when I want something to be done, I'm going to get it done, no matter what.
So
Like,
you're very determined.
I'm very determined.
Okay.
Like,
And you think that'll take you into what field? What do you want to do later on in life?
I'm not finished yet. But I'm loving. I'm kind. I'm really very kind-hearted. But I really want to be a neonatalologist and take care of the babies in NICU.
Okay, so kind-hearted and determined.
Yes.
That'll definitely lead you in that. Yeah, you need both of those things.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good career.
Yep.
other thoughts or things that you're thinking about pursuing?
Well, like, one of mine is like I'm stubborn, but like in a good way. Like, if I see something's wrong, I'm the person like, no matter what, I'll fight for what I believe is right, and like I will never let it go. And I think that's why I want to be a lawyer so badly, especially with children. I want to be a child advocacy lawyer because I just love kids. So.
Oh, that's excellent. Anybody else?
See, with me, I have a very, very big personality. I have no problem talking in front of people. It could be like 1 million people, I'll still do it. I don't know, I like taking pictures, I model here and there. And like you said, I do radio personality. Like I love hosting events. I love being around people, and I love music. That's like my second love, since you said self-love was my first. I love music, I love, just interviewing people, wanting to know what they, where they want to go, what they want to do. I'm just, all around people's person. I have a huge personality.
So probably in the future we'll hear you on some big radio.
You'll hear me. I'm like
syndicated show,
I'm
the Tanasia show.
I'm the next Oprah Winfrey.
Or the next Oprah Winfrey. Exactly.
Nice.
There you go.
What about you, Kimberly?
I want to be so many things that I haven't decided yet, but I know it's going to come down to a time when I have to decide. But I always wanted to be a social worker, like psychologist, but then I wanted to do business, and I want to be a model, so quite a few decisions.
Okay, well
You can do it all.
Yep, you sure can. Some of them could be your side hustle, Make one of them your main career. And then you can do other things on the side. You can achieve and accomplish anything your heart desires. And what about you?
Well, knowing myself, I know I'm very self-disciplined. And I think not only will that take me into a good career path, but also a good life path as well as I transition into adulthood. So,
That's good.
So you're very grounded
yeah.
and you're
good.
very humbled. So what would be your career choice?
Wow. Well, I do love psychology, but I also do like talking about social issues, conversations that are pretty hard to talk about,
Right.
like sexism, racism, microaggressions, stereotypes, all that. I really enjoy talking about
Maybe
those
you
things.
can have your own talk show one day and talk about some of those issues.
I would really like that.
Or maybe social reform and social justice, you'd be a speaker, advocate for some of those reforms.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I think it's really important to start to think about those strengths and what those things are, because I think it really does fuel us, and as we talk about setting goals and kind of like linking into all of that, I think all of that are really like key strategies. So I know oftentimes when we talk about the show and having these conversations, it really to help people that are watching to be able to say, okay, I don't like this about myself, but okay, well, he said he sets a goal, or, she said she does this. I'm going to wake up in the morning and say, I really love myself. I know I mentioned it on previous shows. Affirmations, I think, are so key as it relates to self-confidence and self-esteem. People say fake it until you make it. I don't really believe in that. What do you guys think about that?
Nah.
Yeah, I think it's about being true to where you are, but speaking what you want, so not calling in negativity, but really saying, I love this, or I want to achieve that. Do you all do affirmations at all? Yeah?
Yeah.
Affirmations, self-reflections.
Yeah.
I really find the days for myself to share on the days that I do my affirmations, they're better days. And then I'm like, on a bad day, I'm like, why did I do my affirmations? So definitely something that I would recommend personally.
I want to go back to society because you do have a lot of negative images out there, or radio that produces or play negative music that helps, I think, define negative images on teens or people, girls, boys, what have you. What do you think about that? Because you have a lot of youth and teens that if they hear it on the radio, they believe it, and they start acting those parts. They lose their self in what is being put out there. For instance, like the word thought.
Mm.
What do you think on that?
On the question that you just asked us generally, the views that the question was like the views that they have on us.
Yeah, the negative things that are being said in some songs, or the negative portrayal of how you should be or act or is called. What do you think about that? Because you do have a lot of teens that feed into that, believe in that, and they act the role and part of that. But to them, it's a cultural thing, but it really doesn't make their self-esteem, self-worth, or self-respect high.
For me, being like a African American teen, I'm a female. They have, I'm not gonna say everyone, but there's like this image that they have on us that, like for example, like we're supposed to be baby mamas, or we can't be wives, or we're some. When they think of the word baby mama, they think of African American females more than any else race.
Okay.
So.
What about you, Kim? What you think? Because you're nodding, so I want to hear what your thoughts on it.
The word thought, going back to that, is a very disrespectful word that, like the R&B rap world calls females, and it's not really, they're not, sometimes they're just saying it to a girl just to say it. It's not, they don't know anything about them, and the word is very popular, but not a good popular. And yeah, just society comes up with some crazy stuff, and that's one of them.
Yeah, it is. I think about some of the songs, and it's not all songs, but I do think about some of the songs and some of the words that's being said in it. And like blame it on alcohol. You know, something's being done, but they blame it on alcohol as if it's okay, but what was being done is not okay. Songs that have thought in it, I see a lot of young ladies bumping and grinding and dancing and, you know, enjoying it as if, you know, and I'm just wondering about what are they thinking about their self-esteem, their self-worth, and how they see other people see them as.
So I guess I want to hop in because I feel like I am Diane, sometimes a parent is watching this, and I myself have heard that word, and sometimes there's not clarity, right? So thought is THOT, and my understanding is that hoe over there is what it is. So I really, because I think sometimes we have conversations about things, and it's much like in diversity or other trainings that I do, that sometimes we talk and we have the assumption that everybody knows what that word is and what that word means. So kind of to give a little breath if people are watching and kind of wondering like, what is that? Or watching with their teen and embarrassed and don't want to ask, like maybe I would be, to kind of know what that is and how often that word is used along with the B word, and how sometimes that could kind of be a term of endearment amongst friends these days. I just was having a conversation about that with some teens earlier. Kind of curious what your thoughts are about that.
It's like,
Both. Jakai, you kind of like, you got something to say too.
Well, from my understanding, a thought is a hoe over there. But I think that a lot of people, when they're talking about women in general, often use like the B word or thought or like hoe. And I think that's very disrespectful. And I think not only should no one generalize women like that, no woman should be called that at all.
Or accept that.
Yeah.
But we have a lot that do accept that. It's sort of like, and they're young, you know, and they really accept it as, okay, well, that's my title, so that's what I am. But it really feeds in a lot to self-love, self-respect, and demanding respect, that other people respect who they are and respect them as a young woman. And address them by their name, not by the B or a thought or anything else. So it all ties into how a person may feel.
Are you all seeing that being used amongst friends? And
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like how does it land for you? Like, are you like, whoa, or like 'cause in our age range, like that was an insult. Like you were gonna come to blows or pretty close. But I see people like, hey girl, and it's
Acceptable.
friendly, right? So let's talk about it a little bit. What are you guys thinking? Are you offended? Are you not when you hear it?
Is socially accepted or not?
And not just in friend rights too, like relationship too, like that's my NDGA or that's my BATCH. They refer to like they're talking about their girlfriend or their boyfriend, but that's how they use the term. It's not acceptable for me. I find that offensive. Like I don't think that's not classy for a woman to be like, oh yeah, that's my BATCH over there. Oh yeah, say that's my friend, that's my best friend, or
Yeah, like it's hard to hear it because like once girls start calling each other that, then other people, like even if they're not like friends, they're gonna hear it and then other people are gonna think it's okay to go up to you and start calling you that and other stuff. And it's with anything, like sometimes I even hear people are like, oh, that's my thotty. Like then people are gonna hear it and be like, okay, she can hear that, she can say that, so why can't I say it to her too?
So you see how I'm talking about?
Yeah.
How the word is put out there through music and how it attaches itself to people, and then they start to believe that that's who they are, and it is socially accepted. And it's really disrespect. It really is. So what does that goes to say about some of the things that we see and hear in society? Because I know there's one argument that says that everything you hear or see is not going to make a person actually do or act what they're seeing.
Not always.
Okay, just like video games, you know, someone may act out a crime because they were playing what is it, Theft by Auto or something or whatever.
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto, exactly. But another argument would say that it can affect you because you start to believe some of the things that's put out there socially, and it helps define you, but it helps define you or a particular class or a particular culture or a particular group of people and who they are, but it's being negative.
Yeah, like back to what I was saying, like in high school especially, that's how rumors get started, and then people act upon rumors because it's high school and we're not like, well, some of us aren't fully matured yet. So when they hear people are like, oh, that girl's a thought, like some people think that's okay to try something and go forward with it. So
Okay. Well, I know as teens, y'all going through it, and I just want to throw this out here because it seemed like with everything, it's starting to get younger and younger and younger. And in middle school, you have middle school girls that are so lost, and young men, but a lot of girls that are already so lost as far as not knowing, you know, who they self, because they're preteens. They're trying to develop and they're going through changes. So it's like they're crazy as far as trying to identify with this person, that person, and trying to fit in and what have you. So it's like, how can we start trying to get these kids at a younger age to really know as they're developing who they are so that they can make better positive choices that can lead to them being more positive, beautiful, higher self-esteem, and so on?
I mean, even at this point, we're still all trying to find ourselves. Like,
Exactly.
well, for me personally, I don't really know myself. I know that I love myself and that what I want to be and what's right and what's wrong, but I don't know myself. Like, I'm still trying to figure out what's for me. Like, so for me, just take it one step at a time. That's all I can say. 'Cause that's what I've been doing.
And I want to say, I think that's normal, like, because I don't know everything every day either, and I'm not your age, right? And I still don't know everything. It's a one step at a time. So you're doing the right approach. Like, I think sometimes it's like, you know, we were having a conversation earlier about high school, and it's like you've always kind of been told what to do, when to do it, and then all of a sudden it's like, you have to start making your own decisions. So that's part of life too, right? But then you kind of create who you are as you go along. Like it's not like a push a button and all the answers are there. That doesn't happen, but sometimes it feels like it, or sometimes we can beat ourselves up. So it's definitely a process. So I kind of want to shift gears a little bit because I've been wondering about this. I want to talk a little bit about self-esteem, self-worth, and technology.
Okay.
I want to talk about these selfies with, kissing people and, all of these things that people are utilizing technology and then getting upset in the rumor mill when people break up and start sharing your pictures that you thought you were just sending to the person you were dating. Like, can we talk about that? Because that's been bothering me. So I'm kind of curious your thoughts.
Yeah,
Like, what do you guys think about technology and self-worth and taking these, kind of deep pictures? You guys know what I'm talking about.
Provocative pictures. That's the word, provocative.
Well, first of all, let's get this straight. Everything don't belong on the internet.
So I agree.
Everything don't belong on the internet. And when you're sending something to somebody, be aware of who you're sending it to. That's number one. Be aware of who you're sending it to. But also, at this age, we're still trying to, like I said, we're still trying to find ourselves out. But technology it's just like, it's crazy. Because people use it in the wrong way than what we're really supposed to be using it for. Like, that's how I see it.
Okay.
I think when it comes to taking provocative pictures, I say if that's what you want to do, make sure you're doing it for yourself and not for anyone else. Because I know a lot of people want to take those kind of pictures for like other people's approval. Maybe to feel beautiful by someone else, and I think that's not the right
Way.
mindset to have. Do it for you and only you.
I mean, when you talk about provocative and taking pictures, you can add Kim Kardashian in there that always seems to feel that she needs to take a picture and show all her body parts. And she's a very beautiful woman, so what would be the purpose and why she would feel the need to do that, or anybody at that matter?
Kim Kardashian, I feel like the reason why she does that is because, let's be real, that's how everyone found out about her, through her sex tape with Ray J. So I feel like for her to be socially accepted, it's by being nude.
So her body got her to where she is, so she continues to show that. All right, but what about other people and being provocative and taking pictures and so on?
I've had friends that, not even provocative pictures, they feel like that this selfie has to get 200 likes, or this selfie, like, they need that extra, like, that push, that, like, oh, just because they think because they got this many likes that they're the hot around. But and it's like making them feel like they're beautiful.
So that external desire to be
Noticed.
acknowledged
And noticed.
Yeah. And I think part of our society now with likes and, if something isn't liked by 50 people, like you're trying to do your next biggest thing to kind of push it out there, would we say? So then that's, again, external and not internal love and esteem for oneself, right? Yeah. It's deep. Like, and it's hard because it's almost like it's a new addiction. Like, instead of it being something like, I'm loving myself for who I am, I'm only loving it if 50 other people are loving it. Because now it's almost like it's not enough. It's just an interesting phenomenon, I'm finding. So it's cool to hear your thoughts about it.
Yeah. How many of y'all really love the skin that you in?
I do.
Because you only got one, okay? So I don't know what else to say, because of the simple fact that there's so many lost souls out there, youth, that do not love the skin that they're in. You got to be appreciative and know that, again, you are unique. None of us are perfect. We're never going to be perfect. You can only try to do your best at everything that you can do, What do you think?
I definitely think so. So, like I said, one of my main things is self-love, that your first love and your last love should be self-love. And, you know, really doing affirmations it's really key to me, and really speaking the things that I want, you know. And I think being able to do that has helped me become a stronger person, and you know, really have that clarity. And I jokingly asked you all what you wanted to do, but I just ran into a high school friend, and he always used to call me his counselor. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got a counseling degree, you know, like, and it was really great. But I think it's, you know, sometimes we have those conversations, but I think it's really important that we say it, because then we get an opportunity to walk into it and to be it. So I'm hoping that we can maybe all share maybe like our best tip, that maybe someone who's watching the show thinking about, how can I become better? How can I become stronger? You know, what's something that you want someone watching this to take away from you as one of your best suggestions to build self-esteem?
Self-esteem and self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
My tip is, like I do, take it one step at a time first, and always see the positive in things. Like,
Okay.
and when you fail, just pick yourself up and push forward to get where you want to get. And love yourself, and that's really it.
Well, those are great tips. You have anything, Kim?
You just need to believe in yourself, and with the can-do attitude, and just motivate your own self, because you don't need anyone to motivate you. You should be your own motivation.
Okay. To know and understand that somebody always has it worse. You know, there's rough times, we all go through them. You know, sometimes we all need a pat on the back or a hug or a kiss or whatever it may be from your loved one, but to know and understand that somebody always has it worse. You know, it's not the end of the world, and life goes on. You got to do what you got to do to get to where you're going, so,
Right.
you know.
I think the best tip I can give is going back to what Sarah Dean was saying about surrounding yourself by positive people and good people, and also people who bring out your best self.
Really key.
Yeah, Sarah Dean.
And my best tip would be to realize that you'll never be perfect, because there is no such thing as perfect, because everybody's going to try to reach this imaginary goal to be perfect, which is something that doesn't exist. So the only thing you can work towards is to be the best you can be, and love that you.
Awesome.
Yeah, very good. You have anything that you want to say?
That was I gave my tips. I think that was really key. It's really been a great conversation, and I think sometimes having that chance to just talk about it and just be around people and talk about, what do you do and what do you do? Sometimes we don't do that, and I think that's a really nice opportunity. So I've enjoyed this.
I think just being on this show, you guys being on this show, can really help somebody else that may be watching. So make sure you do tell friends and family, and maybe that might be a girl in the hallway or a guy in the hallway at school that you see with their head held down, to tell them Nutmeg TV, you know, go online, and so that they can watch the Trendy Teen Talk Show, so that they can see you and see us up here, and it just might inspire them, and it might make them feel better. So I wonder if you really understand that being on this show, y'all can really be helping someone else.
Yep.
Do you understand the magnitude and the power and the gift of that? Okay. So my tip would be always self-love, okay? And remember, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So don't worry about what anybody else have to say. Know yourself. Walk with your head up high, you know, and the rest just doesn't matter, pretty much.
Give compliments. Be encouraging to other people. Be positive. I think that helps to build your own confidence when you can see that you poured into somebody else.
And I think those of you who may have younger siblings, because they may be in middle school, and who knows, there may be a time where it's going to even be all the way in elementary school, because you do have kids in elementary school that has low self-esteem too. But if you have younger siblings, help them to understand who they are, who they can be, and their self-worth. Talk to them, let them know that they're great. Let them know that, no, they're not perfect. They can only do the best they can. But I will tell you, we really are perfect because we're perfect in God's eyes. He created us all, and He created us through His vision. So we're perfect through that. So do anybody have anything they want to say or add as our show start to come to a close?
Like my mom and my sister always tells me, just because it's not pretty to someone else doesn't mean it can't be. Just because it's not pretty to that one person, it can't be pretty to someone else.
Right. Love your body, no matter how you are. Short, tall, thin, big, it doesn't matter. Pimples, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Love who you are. Love the skin that you're in. Because I honestly feel like the power comes from within. And only you can bring that power out. Only you can shine like a diamond.
Yeah.
You are your own creator. You also your own author of your own book with your own path and your own story to tell. And you will come to greatness. You will. Focus on your passion, okay? Your ambition, some of the things that you have for your passion will actually lead to who you will become as a woman, as a young man. And it's all based on your character, okay? I would like to thank you all for being on the Trendy Teen Talk Show. And I want you to realize how important this show is and the topics that we talk about. It's a way of giving you a voice, talking about real issues, having teens really here to discuss it, and actually having viewers to see it because it's important. So I really like to thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for your contributions to the conversation. Until the next time.
Till the next time, we'd like to sign off by saying, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Trendy Teen Talk Show.
Trendy
Teen Talk Show.
That's a delay. 1, 2, 3.
Trendy Teen Talk Show.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.